Hello there, it's Mr. P again. Okay, today we're going to try to have a go at writing part 3 of our writing. We do a little bit of the video, and I kind of just try and do it in one take, just to keep it all as fresh as possible. And I was looking at some of the stuff, I watched back some of the stuff that we wrote last time, and I said I was happy with it. Actually, I've sort of reviewed that, so I'm not happy with it. So I think that's the lesson there, is that it's so important to go back and reread what you wrote. At that time, you might think it's fine, and then give it a little bit more thinking space, and you go back and you revisit something, you think, do you know what? I didn't see that the first time. That's not quite right, or I could change that and just make it a little bit better. I think being a good writer is about always trying to play and play and play and shape the perfect text. You don't get the perfect shape straight away, so it's always about trying to fine-tune what you've written, and that's how you get fantastic writing, and that is part of the process. That's very much part of it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to quickly look back at what we wrote before, just refresh our minds, and then we'll push on into part 3, which is the start of the chase. I'm going to put myself in that little box. Okay, here we go. So if I do some of that, I do some of that, press that one, I should be in my little box. Ooh, yep, there we go, back in the box. Fantastic, here we go. Let me just drop that down a bit. Yep. Okay, good. So let's have a little think about what we did last time. We were introducing the main character. We talked about identity, didn't we? And using these small little words to create an identity that maybe is different to the identity of the reader. And that's really, really important, really, really important to sort of push that point, push the reader to feel a little bit uncomfortable, experience things that are beyond their everyday life. Okay, so we were introduced to the main character, the box came out of the floor, something going on, and this is what we wrote last time, wasn't it? And it says, what had fallen from the tower was a large metal box like a refrigerator, a safe, or even a coffin. I just had a little issue here. Do I want to use or, which is the little conjunction, or do I want to use the hyphen? Kind of, they're doing the same job there, really. That's not quite right. So perhaps it's a hyphen or, you know, one of the two. So a refrigerator, a safe, even a coffin. A coffin even is probably better, isn't it? Yeah. And I quite like this idea of a coffin, because it puts this idea of death into the reader's mind, just subtly, so it makes them feel a little bit uncomfortable. I had a little look through here. Slowly through the settling dust, a figure emerged a figure. That's really a fronted adverbial and a main clause, isn't it? So slowly through the settling dust, yeah. All of this bit here tells us when did this verb happen? When did this emerging happen? It happened when the dust was slowly settling. So really we need a little comma in there. Slowly through the settling, slowly through the settling dust emerged a figure. I quite like this though. I was thinking about this. It's a great word. A figure emerged. Yeah, so putting that figure before the emerging just adds a little bit of mystique to the figure. All right. She wore a baseball cap pulled down low. That seems to be a bit smaller. Don't worry about that. When they reached the box, how can we miss this? Look at that. That's the wrong pronoun, isn't it? When they reached the box, who are we talking about? We're not talking about they. We're talking about she, aren't we? So when she reached the box, and again, that's a fronted adverbial telling us what more information about when she did this looking. Yeah. So when she reached the box, comma. When she reached the box, comma. She looked left and right to check if she were alone, and then kicked the metal box. Hang on a minute there. We've got really 3 verbs in one sentence here. That's probably a little bit too much, a bit too confusing. She reached, she looked, and she kicked. That's too much. I reckon we need to probably bash that down into 2 places. When she reached the box, she looked left and right to check if she were alone. She kicked the metal box, and I was thinking here, hard. I want it to be tough. Yeah, I want the reader to think, actually, oh my word, yeah, she's a girl, but she's kicking stuff. hard. You know, that makes us think again about this character. She kicked the metal box hard. She's tough. The door fell open, spilling its contents across the floor. Let's have a quick read of that. I think I'm a little bit more happy with that. What had fallen from the tower block was a large metal box like a refrigerator, a safe, a coffin even. Slowly through the settling dust, a figure emerged. She wore a baseball cap pulled down low, a scarf covered her face. When she reached the box, she looked left and right to check if she were alone. She kicked the metal box hard. The door fell open, spilling its contents across the floor. I think that is much, much better. I'll probably reread that again later just to sort of check. But I think after 3 little edits, we've kind of got there, haven't we? Yeah. So important. Keep playing, keep working, changing, putting things in, taking things out. Really, really important, isn't it, to be a good writer? Okay, without further ado, let's have a look at part 3 then. Part 3 is the chase, isn't it? But we don't know by who at this stage. Who is chasing? We know there's this machine that's coming after, but we don't know who. And so we could add or keep this sort of element of surprise in there, couldn't we? Okay, so what happens in this scene? Well, we left it before, didn't we? As the character suddenly stands up as if they're listening to something, and then they start running. How did they start running? They sprung like a cheetah, and he glanced behind, or she glanced behind him. The beating sound growing louder, so there's this sound of the getting near. And then it's upon you, isn't it? Yes, we can try and get that across. And then from behind a building, emerging like from a building. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Emerging from a building, from behind, isn't it? Yeah, emerging from behind, buzzing like a wasp. That's quite good, isn't it? I like this insect idea. That's a nice, what do you call that? It's a simile, isn't it? Buzzing like a wasp. Yeah, where you're comparing something to something else, even though it's not wasp, it's a machine, but wasp buzz, the machine is buzzing. It's a simile, isn't it? We're comparing. If only they could get there, if only they could make it to the bridge. So we're giving here the reader this idea of, they're being chased, but there is a plan, and if we can get there, everything's going to be okay, but maybe they won't. Oh, it's exciting. So you want the reader to be having these different feelings, don't you? Yeah, good. Okay, let's have a little peep here then. Here. Then suddenly this thing emerges, doesn't it? You have a little bit of fun here. Describe what it is. I know there's a couple of daft ideas. It's an H-25 rotor droid. I don't know, just made it up. Or it's a Haven DR penetrator drone. I don't know why you have to say that in an American voice, but maybe it helps. I don't know. So yeah, just have a little bit of fun there. Or you could just call it a drone, or a flying object, or a helicopter. It's up to you, isn't it? Yeah, but sometimes adding these like extra little names might add a little bit of realism or believability and help the reader shape this world. As the drone swoops in, the hero, this is quite good, and it's suicidally leapt from the bridge. So here we've got the drone. She, in my case, is running as fast as she can to get away from it, and she kind of knows that she's got something by the bridge. And it says here, look, as the drone swapped in, the hero suicidally, what a great word that is, leapt from the bridge. Is that a spell? Oh no, they want me to be suicidal, and I want to do it suicidally. So there we go. Story of my life. Okay, so here they're leaping off this bridge. Why are they leaping off a bridge? You've got to be crazy to leap off the bridge. Aha! It's not a bridge, there's a bank down the other side. They knew that, but we didn't. So they slid down the moss-covered concrete embankment. It's a nice word there, isn't it? Where a motorway, doesn't make sense, is it where a motorway had once been? Okay, a motorway, so we know this is a motorway had once been. There was a motorbike from the last century. It was a noisy, primitive machine, but fast. It revved into life, the engine roared. That's not quite right, is it? Okay, this is quite nice, isn't it? Maybe they had a chance, so they're trying to get away there. So basically, what have we got? We've got the character running away. We've got the thing that's chasing them, emerging into view. They slide down a bank and jump on this sort of old bike. And you've got this kind of old motorbike technology versus this sort of like new technology, haven't you? Sort of like the old world versus the new world. Okay, and that really is the beginning of the chapter there, isn't it? So let's just have a quick play around. Just got some ideas here. The noise was behind her. She leapt up and ran. She didn't wait to see what was behind her. She ran like a cheetah. If only she could reach freeway without being caught. The drone was above her, taking aim like a mosquito, ready to suck her life from this abandoned world. Oh, I quite like that. She reached the bank and leapt up and skidded down the bank. 2 banks there. And there it was, her ticket out of Nowhere City. A battered Norton 7000 was parked, ready. She leapt on it and kick-started the engine. It roared into life and she sped off down the open freeway as the drone circled angrily above her. Some nice bits in here. This start is a bit rough though, isn't it? Let's have a quick look at this. The noise was behind her. She leapt up and ran. She didn't wait to see what it was behind her. She ran like a cheetah. Why don't we put that up here? She leapt up and ran like a cheetah. Not too sure about cheetahs. Cheetah's a bit of an easy one, isn't it? Yeah, cheetah was the fast animal that ran like a cheetah. She leapt up and she ran. We'll leave it. She leapt up and she ran like a cheetah. Maybe it's something better than a cheetah. She didn't wait to sit. The noise was behind her. Should we get that thing? The noise was behind her, buzzing. I quite like that one, like an angry wasp. Sort of like insect theme going on. The noise was buzzing. The noise was behind her, buzzing like an angry wasp. She leapt up and ran like a cheetah. How about this? Not waiting. So she didn't wait, not waiting to see what it was behind her. How about this? She already knew. She already knew. She already knew. What could it be? Let's call it a locator drone. A locator drone. Oh my God, it's a locator drone. They're coming to get us. A locator drone. She already knew. Oh, it's time for a colon. And information. There we go. We can use that colon there. A colon just really adds information, extra information. Yeah, it's almost like a bracket in this case, isn't it? She already knew. A locator drone. So what does she know? It's a locator drone. She already knew it was a locator drone. If only she could reach the freeway. If only she could reach the freeway without being caught. Now, freeway is a sort of American way of saying motorway. I quite like this idea of freeway. It's a word that we don't usually use, and it has the word free in it. So kind of we're putting this idea of get away onto the freeway and you can be free, you can escape. So we're saying the word escape without saying escape. We're just planting these ideas in. It was a locator drone. If only she could reach the freeway without being caught. The drone was above her. The drone was above her. Let's have it now as if it's moved. The drone was above her now, taking aim like a mosquito, ready to suck her life from this abandoned world. Taste it. She reached the bank and leapt. She reached. No, she didn't reach the. She reached the bridge, didn't she? She reached the bridge and leapt. Let's get that suicidally down there. Suicidally over the side. She leapt suicidally over the side. So she skidded. Let's have her skidding. She skidded down. And what's that word again? She skidded down the embankments on the other side. There it was. Side. Let's break some rules here. There it was. Her ticket out of Nowhere City. Brilliant. A battered Norton 7000. Have you noticed that Norton is a sort of not so common now, an old English motorcycle manufacturer. My granddad used to have Nortons. And I've got this little tip from J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter. You know, she had some brooms and she had a Nimbus. And now a Nimbus is an old aircraft, a military aircraft. They still use them now. A Nimbus. And if you put like a big number at the end of it, it just makes it sound pretty cool. So a Norton 7000, I don't know, just make it up. It could be, I don't know, a Rover 820. Just put a number on the end, makes it sound cool. There we go. A Microsoft 720. Is it 720? Yeah, that's much better than the 340. I don't know, put numbers, easy. A battered Norton 7000 was parked ready. She leapt on it and kick-started the engine. It roared into life and she sped off down the open freeway, as the drone all circled angrily above her. Yeah, now we've got two angries there. We've got an angry wasp, angrily. I don't know. Maybe we can think about that later. Not too happy about that. Let's just have a little check, final check, and then we'll move on. The noise was behind her, buzzing like an angry wasp. She leapt up and ran like a cheetah, not waiting. She leapt up and ran like a cheetah, not waiting to see what it was behind her. She already knew it was a locator drone. If only she could reach the freeway without being caught. The drone was above her now, taking aim like a mosquito, ready to suck her life from this abandoned world. She reached the bridge and leapt suicidally over the side. She skidded down the embankment. On the other side, we've got that already. Skidded down the embankment, and there it was, her ticket out of Nowhere City. A battered Norton 7000 was parked, ready. She leapt on it and kick-started the engine. It roared into life, and she sped off down the open freeway as the drone circled angrily above her. That might be okay, that angrily. That might be okay. Anyway, that's kind of what we've got. It's your turn now. Have some fun with your writing. Just keep playing, keep enjoying it, keep choosing those words and painting those pictures. You know, just enjoy your writing. You're good at it. You are. You're good at it. Okay, so part 3 is over. The chase. Bye. Right, I'm going to stop this, come out of my little box. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.